This is Kathy Biehl of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro-Insight for the week of February 27th, 2023. Welcome to an extreme week. The skies are giving everybody a gigantic dose of energy and guts and drive. And fortunately, along with that, some very clear and grounded thinking. And then a universal telepathy, an ability to sense what's going on with other people, and more importantly, to give people a lot of slack and understand what's motivating them. And these traits, these characteristics are outfitting us to get through an intense stretch of being on the brink of we don't exactly know what. The technical specifications of what's going on? Well, the week starts with our social director, Venus, in the sign of Aries, in huntress mode, firing up everybody to go after what they want without worrying about it, without thinking about it in advance, just jumping, leaping, claiming. And this skyrockets by the 1st of March, when Venus meets her counterpart in indulgence, Jupiter, in the sign of Aries. And everybody is unapologetically running after what they want, pouncing on what they want. It's not going to be quiet. It's not going to be gentle, not going to be sweet, but it's probably not going to be reckless because our minds and our information flow are headed right for structure and stability. Mercury has a meeting with Saturn, the planet of adulting, the next day, March 2nd. And this puts solid parameters around our thinking. It boosts confidence, but it boosts confidence with actual knowing, not simply bravado. This may deliver extremely clear signals about where the walls are, in which case you're probably not going to throw yourself in that direction. And almost immediately, the way we communicate shifts into something much more vague and ephemeral and feeling-based when Mercury, later on the 2nd, moves into the sign of Pisces. Mercury in Pisces thinks in feelings, in images, not so much in words. This is going to blur boundaries between people. It's going to make it easy and organic to soak up what's going on around you. Innate and intuitive, if you like. What it makes me think of is years ago when I attended a drumming workshop led by Gabrielle Roth, and she had everyone just set out and start moving through an extremely crowded auditorium while her drummers were hitting a beat. And somehow everyone stayed out of everyone else's way, no matter how quickly we were bounding around that room. That's the kind of guidance system that Mercury in Pisces is going to give us. He'll be in that sign until March 19th. These three major aspects are our main tools for getting through why this week is so extreme. And that is, we are on the brink of new phases. And the pressure is building, but we're not quite there yet. And to a noticeable degree, we're not sure what's going to be in those next phases. Saturn and Pluto are at the very, very, very end of their signs. And each of them is going to be operating at maximum of whatever the expression of that sign is. Saturn's hanging out at the very last degree of Aquarius. By next week, he'll be minutes from the door. And his time pushing against the door is going to escalate our experience of the meaning of his time in Aquarius for the past 3 years, which brought a global lockdown, which brought social distancing, which brought separation from social groups, which brought moving life online. There's the technological slant to Aquarius. Next week on March 7th, hours after the Virgo full moon, he brings his containing, constraining energies to Pisces for the first time since 1996. At the same time, Pluto is at the very end of Capricorn, bringing things to a head, to a crescendo, to a cartoonishly large expression that we've been experiencing since January 2008, when Pluto first moved into Capricorn. For each of us as individuals, this transit has brought a complete breaking down of our personal foundations and infrastructures, goals, reshaping all kinds of things that we thought were important in our lives. And along with Saturn being in Aquarius, causing a massive reprioritizing and simplifying of what is most important to each of us now. And on a collective level, Pluto in Capricorn has been deconstructing, demolishing, reconstructing institutions, actual physical infrastructure, and systems of power and wealth. Issues of corruption will likely loom even more ridiculously large before Pluto scoots over into Aquarius on March 23rd. Wealth inequality, power of corporations, the notion of dark money, and the deconstruction from within of all kinds of institutions, societal, governmental, corporate, financial, will very probably hit maximum expression before Pluto moves into Aquarius for our first look at it, which will be only for a few months. And then he comes back into Capricorn to continue dealing with and continue escalating whatever really comes to the fore, to the surface now. This week, your own self-interests are going to be front and center. They are what will be motivating you, driving you, but not to the point that you're going to jump off a cliff or do something incredibly irresponsible. Thank that Mercury-Saturn conjunction coming on the heels of Venus and Jupiter trying to whip you into a frenzy. Watch for the energy shift when Mercury floats over into Pisces. See if you don't get more of a sense of what's going on with the people around you, and possibly what lies ahead, at least when Saturn crosses over into Pisces next week. Take your vitamins and rest when you can, because it's going to be extremely active, and probably you will get a terrific amount done in all of this. Underlying everything else that's going on, we have a series of semi-sextiles, 5 of them throughout the week, flicking at you, nudging you, saying, deal with this, act in a more mature way, don't handle this the way you've always evolved already. You're a bigger person than this. Try things differently. And why not? Because the atmosphere is on the brink of change, so it's appropriate to experiment with something other than the way you have always approached things. Homing thought of the week: go for it. Song of the week: Trust Your Heart by Stacey Kent. And the image of the week is standing in line for an amusement park ride you've never been on. You'll learn more about this in my forecasts for the month of March and the Virgo full moon, both of which are already up at my site, empowermentunlimited.net, where you can sign up for my mailing list and book a session with me. I'm Kathy Biehl, a professional astrologer with more than 30 years' experience. I host the show Celestial Compass on Om Times Radio on the first and third Monday of every month at 5 p.m. Eastern. I also oversee all kinds of conversation on Facebook, on the page Empowerment Unlimited, and in the group, the Astro-Insight Lounge. I have lots of bonus content at patreon.com/Kathy Biehl, and I'm really grateful to the people who support my work there. I'm on Instagram at @KABiehl and on YouTube at the Professional Aquarian channel. Talk to you next week.